And proper respect to the spiritual master. Prabhupada. Om Jnanatimandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmalatam Yaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master has kindly opened my eyes for the shining torchlight of transcendental knowledge. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Okay.
So where are you up to?
The 8th chapter now. We're
8th chapter.
the 8th chapter,
Okay.
which is entitled Attaining the Supreme. Attaining the Supreme. And last week we read text 10, but we only read the translation, but not the purport. So we'll read the text again, translation, and then we'll get into the purport. So this title is because in this part of the Bhagavad Gita, we've just been reading, it's talked about how if we remember Krishna when we die, then that's where we're going to go. We're going to go back home, back to Godhead. So that's how we can attain. The title is Attaining the Supreme. So that's the process of attaining the Supreme, or means.
I like the option 2. If you don't remember the Krishna, Krishna will remember you.
Yes. So that's also part of the process of attaining the Supreme.
It's solid. You cannot go wrong with option 2.
Yeah. So while we're alive, we try to please the Lord as much as we can. And we know there's 9 particular ways that we can please the Lord. So what are some of the ways? What are the 9?
Shravan, Kirtan.
Yeah.
What do you call service? Something.
Yeah, 9 kinds of service. There's 9 kinds of service, devotional service. And this, the third one is remembering. So this is particularly what this chapter is talking about. By remembering Krishna during our life, and also remembering him at the time of death, then we can go back to Godhead. So remembering Krishna also pleases Krishna. So if we're hearing about Krishna, that pleases Krishna. If we're glorifying Krishna, chanting, that pleases Krishna. If we're remembering him, that pleases him. And then also Padasavana means serving his lotus feet, like Lakshmi Devi, his wife, serves his lotus feet. And that also incorporates the process of deity worship. So anyone that's worshipping deities is fulfilling that process of serving the lotus feet of the Lord. As you know, the pujaris will get to touch the feet of the Lord, and they can massage oil the Lord's feet. They can put a flower. They can put a flower at the feet of the Lord. So yeah, there's a lot of service to the feet, and that also includes Padasavanam. Also includes serving the devotees, because where are the devotees? The devotees have taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, isn't it? So anyone that's trying to be a servant of Krishna has taken shelter of Krishna, of his lotus feet. So by serving the devotees, you're also following that process of serving the feet of the Lord, because that's where the devotees are. As when we offer our first prayer to Prabhupada, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pastaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane. So Nama Om Vishnu Padaya. So Vishnu, obviously another name of Krishna is Vishnu with 4 arms, Vishnu. Vishnu Padaya. Padaya means feet. So Prabhupada is at Krishna's feet, Vishnu's feet, like that. So the spiritual master has taken shelter of God. So it's not, some people have a wrong idea that the spiritual master is God, but that's actually not correct. And by this glorification of Prabhupada, we can tell that that it's not that the spiritual master is God, but he is taking shelter of God. He is a representative of God. That's our via medium. How we connect with God is by connecting with the spiritual master. They're like a via medium to God. And Prabhupada gave examples, just like England has a governor general. So say the governor general, it's not that the Queen or the King comes to Australia or New Zealand, not usually, but the governor general may come to Australia and New Zealand. And whatever you give to the governor general, is he going to put that in his pocket? No, he gives that to the king or the queen. So he's like the representative of the king or the queen. So like that, the spiritual master has that kind of relationship with God. And on behalf of God, he's taking service from us. So it's not that the spiritual master is the enjoyer of all that service that we're doing, but that he is accepting it, all that service on behalf of Krishna. That's the principle. That's the principle. So yeah, serving the devotees, worshipping the devotees, like we do Guru Puja, right? So it's the same principle that we worship the spiritual master and we do Guru Puja, like Prabhupada's Guru Puja every morning, and every ISKCON temple around the world we do Guru Puja. So that's part of Sevanam. So we worship the spiritual master with that understanding that whatever worship we do to Prabhupada or another pure devotee, that's going to be accepted by Krishna. Like at that time of Guru Puja, we offer a flower, right, to the spiritual master, and then we bow down. So one time Prabhupada said that I am collecting obeisances. Did you understand that? Collecting obeisances. So 1 person, 2 person, 3, 5, 10, 50, 100 people bowing down. So he's collecting that, you could say, on like a tax collector, right? A tax collector, is he collecting all the taxes and putting in his pocket? Well, maybe, but it shouldn't be. But a tax collector is supposed to be collecting the money on behalf of the government.
But in India, it's different. They put in the pocket.
Yeah, well, that tax collector could be punishable. One day the king might come and chop his head off if he finds out that he's putting some in his pocket. But if he's doing a job properly, he's just collecting on behalf of the king, like that. So yeah, part of Sevanam. And then Archanam. Archanam means worshipping the Lord. So like when you offer arti and that pleases the Lord. That's one way you can please the Lord, by doing archana.
1 minute, that the king would be a representative of Krishna as well?
He's supposed to be. Yep. He's supposed to be.
So the
And because
king's money, it's like if we are like, paying the debts, like these days, king is like equal to prime minister, isn't it?
Well, not really.
Back in olden days was a king.
Well, it's democracy. So there's many persons in the government.
Yeah.
I mean, the prime minister has a little bit more power than others, but still, he can't make a decision by himself. So the prime minister can't make a decision by himself. He has to get, the sanction from all the other members of the government. Whereas in a monarchy, the king, he's the sole, he's the sole decision maker. Of course, because the king used to be a humble devotee, he would consult with the brahmanas before making a decision. So before the Chakri would make the decision, he would ask their opinion on the matter. But then when they gave their opinion, then the decision is completely his decision. It's not that he needs 10 people to say yes before he can.
Majority, okay.
It's only him. So it's a little bit different. But but still similar. That's what a king has been replaced by.
It's like
the prime minister.
Olden days when he gave a tax to the king, back in olden days. So that was like, if you steal the tax from the king or don't give it for any reason or something, that means you're stealing money from Krishna?
Well, ultimately, everything belongs to Krishna, not just the taxes. Like our body belongs to Krishna, our house, our car, our wife. You know, like we say, you know, my wife.
Body, you
ultimately,
can't, you can't chop your arm and offer to Krishna. But the tax is the things there you can
Oh.
do here, put in the pocket. So that means you're stealing from Krishna?
You can use your arm, though, for Krishna service, and we
Yes.
should, because the arm belongs to
Yes,
Krishna.
that's right.
And so it should be used, you know. So how do we use the hand for Krishna? You put a japa beads in it and you chant like that, or you give a flower to Krishna with your hand, or like that, or you play the mridanga or kartals, or you clap. Like even that, like Prabhupada explains that, and it's because it's coming from the nectar of devotion, it's mentioned there, Prabhupada mentioned that even clapping before the deities, that it changes the lines on your hands, like all your karma is changed. It means Krishna's pleased, even Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So Krishna's pleased, and you're using your hands to glorify him. Like if you don't have mridanga and kartals, does that mean you can't do a kirtan? Of course you can. You can just clap.
Yeah.
You can just clap like that. So, and that's using your hands in Krishna's service. So everything belongs to Krishna, not just the taxes. But yeah, so the taxes should be used. If we take the taxes that were meant to be used for the given to the king and used for the public's benefit, then definitely that's sinful, because that was Krishna's system, that the king would collect taxes and then he would distribute that money. He would distribute that money given to him for the benefit of the public, like, you know, making roads and distributing to the public. Like one big duty of a king is to hold festivals.
Yeah.
So, and he would distribute prasadam like profusely and organize big kirtan performances and everything for the pleasure, for the happiness of the public in that, and that makes them more Krishna conscious in that. So if you took that money, then obviously that's gonna yeah.
And then you have to pay back, and Krishna knows how to collect the debts. Believe me.
Yeah, that's right. You'll have to take birth again and pay it back, you know, and then many times over. You might
5 times more.
Yeah, you might take $100,000, but in your next life you have to pay back $1 million because it's with interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when the kings stopped being proper kings and following their duties, that's when it all fell apart. So now there's hardly any more kings because they disobeyed those orders of the Lord. They weren't representing the Lord anymore. And it's the same if the spiritual master thinks he's the enjoyer of all the service given by the disciples, then his position falls apart too. And gurus fall down. As we know, gurus also fall down. So yeah, whatever we are, we have to do our duty. So yeah, worshipping the deities, that's archanam, that pleases the Lord. And you know, you're offering your food to the Lord. So even we might not be a pujari, but that doesn't matter. I mean, you might do a alati at home, or at least definitely you'll be offering food at home. So that offering food, you're offering it to the deity, whether it's a picture or a statue or whatever. You're offering it to the deity, so that you're performing that archanam, that worshipping the Lord like that. And this also, even you definitely chanting Hare Krishna, that also fits within that also, Archan. That's one of the main ways to please the deity. If you have a deity in your house, what's one of the main things you can do to please the deity? You chant Hare Krishna for the pleasure of the deity. So that's also worshipping the deity. It's not just you can worship a deity with incense and flowers and a ghee lamp, but you worship the deity by chanting for the pleasure of the deity. Especially if your deity is a Gauranitai. If your deity is a Gauranitai, even you don't feed them is no big deal. But if you don't chant Hare Krishna for Gauranitai, that's a big deal. They're going to say, see you later, we're going. You know, so it'll just be statues in your house and the Lord won't be there. Because what especially Lord Chaitanya likes, what pleases him the most, even more than offerings of food and whatever else, incense and flowers, is chanting Hare Krishna, because that's why he's come, right? Why did Lord Chaitanya come? To get us to chant Hare Krishna. So if you don't chant Hare Krishna, it's like, well, you guys are pretty hopeless. I'm going somewhere else where someone's chanting.
Yeah.
Like that. So yeah, but if you have Radha Krishna, then you want to regularly offer food and have regular artis, since it's more high, higher standard, like that. That's why it's recommended, like in the homes, better to have like Panchatattva, those 5, Lord Chaitanya and his associates, or Gauri Thai, like that. It's more better. Just simply by chanting and whatever food you're going to eat, you should offer that, of course. And then that's enough. That's enough. Anything else is an optional extra. And then another process is dasyam. So that's like menial service. Like Hanuman is the example of dasyam. So whatever Lord Ram wanted, Hanuman would carry it out. Oh, Hanuman, get some Sanjeevani herbs for Lakshman is being wounded. And he'd go, went and brought the whole mountain because he wasn't sure where's the right herbs. Yeah. So that's like service, like that. Or go and find Sita. Go and find Sita. So yes, master. So whatever the master orders, the servant carries it out. So whatever, like Prabhupada is saying, if you want to please me, distribute my books. So then you go out and distribute books. So that's dasyam. You're doing menial service. So the spiritual master says to the disciple, clean the toilets. Then you go and do it, And if you say no, then that's not dasyam. You're not following dasyam. If you say no, if you're given an instruction by the Lord or as representative of the spiritual master, and then you say no, or later on when I feel like it, then that's not dasyam. So Prabhupada said one time the mood between the disciple and the spiritual master is when the spiritual master gives an order, the disciple says, yes, sir. Like in the army, right? Yes, sir. So that's the kind of mood, like in the army. Like the soldiers in the army follow their superior. When their sergeant or lieutenant or whatever says, dig a hole or something like that, they say, yes, sir. Like that. So we should be obedient to whatever the orders of the Lord are. And that's dasyam. Render some service, whatever we can with our body and so forth. And then vandanam. Vandanam means offering prayers. So that's also one of the 9 processes. Of course, chanting Hare Krishna is also a prayer. So actually chanting Hare Krishna fits into quite a few categories. When you chant, you're also hearing that. So that's Shravanam, hearing. And when you're chanting, your tongue is vibrating. So you're actually chanting. So you're hearing, you're chanting. And like I said, it's also worshipping the Lord. And also a prayer. Prabhupada explained that chanting Hare Krishna is a prayer, praying, "Oh Hare Radha, please engage us in your service," and also Krishna. So Hare Krishna. So, "Oh Hare, energy of the Lord," and "Oh Krishna," which is Lord. "Oh energy of the Lord, oh Lord, please engage us in your service, and please protect us from Maya. Please protect us from your Maya." And we want to give you pleasure, because Rama means pleasure, right? So most people, if they do believe in God, they think that God's for our pleasure, but actually that's not a fact. The Rama is that we should give pleasure to him, not that he does please us. He gives everything to us. That's why Krishna's name, Govinda. Govinda means he gives pleasure to the cows and the senses. So this body is made up of senses, right? So he gives pleasure to their senses. Like just before we started talking, we had prasada, and we're a bit late today, and that's very enjoyable to the senses, right? Especially to the tongue, right, and the belly. So where did that pleasure come from? It came from the food, but where did the food come from?
From the earth, it's grow up in the vegetable and everything from Krishna, of course. Yeah.
From
from sunlight and the water from the rain. Everything ultimately is Krishna.
Ultimately, it's Krishna. Like in the 7th chapter, we can look at that if you like. 7th chapter, text 4. 7th chapter, text 4.
Water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All together, these 8 constitute mind-separated material energies.
Yeah. So like the food is made up of earth and water, and also how do you cook the food? On fire. So Krishna is supplying us all these wonderful ingredients that we can make this nice food and enjoy it. So he's ultimately giving us pleasure to our senses. He's giving pleasure to our senses. And of course, if you go to a temple and you look at beautiful Radha Gokulananda, and your eyes are in ecstasy because the Radha Gokulananda is so beautiful. And so he's giving pleasure to our eyes by he's standing there in Cessnock. Why is he come from the spiritual world to Cessnock? Does he like Cessnock?
He like a devotee to give the pleasure, that's why.
Yeah, he's giving mercy to the devotees. So the devotees of Cessnock can get an opportunity to get purified and, see the Lord and get some service to the Lord. So the Lord is giving some opportunity to all those devotees in the Cessnock area. It's not that he's attracted to Cessnock. He's attracted to Goloka Vrindavan, the spiritual world. So many loving devotees there. But he's come to the material world, to any particular place, just out of his causeless mercy, because he loves us. And he giving us an opportunity to see him and purify our eyes and giving us a chance to render some service, some menial service. So that's his mercy. So he's giving pleasure like that. But so that's that's automatically there, that he's giving pleasure to us. But what's not automatic, but we should think about, is that he's doing so much for me. He's giving me the food that I eat, the water that I drink, the air that I breathe, the fire I need to keep warm. And right now it's a real rotten, cold, rainy, windy day, and we put the fire on. It keeps the house nice and warm. But who can we thank for that? That's Krishna's giving us fire like that. So he's doing all this for us. So what we should think is, Krishna's doing so much for me. What can I do for Krishna? What can I do for Krishna? And then that's our prayer. That's our prayer. How can I serve you? You've done so much for me. That's guaranteed. Now what can I do for you? So that's, Prabhupada said one time, more than once he said, but he said, my only question I ever had to my spiritual master is, how can I serve you? Because many people go to a guru also, a God, but also the guru only, asking for things for themselves, right? Oh, yeah. God, oh, Guruji, Guru Maharaj, can you please help me find a wife? Oh, Guru Maharaj, can you help me my business to increase? Oh, Guru Maharaj, can you help me to pass my exams? So we're wanting them, Guru or God, or we go to the temple or the mosque or the church. Like Robert said, during the Second World War, so many women went to the churches in England and there in the Second World War, and so many women went to the churches in Germany, and they prayed to God in the church, please bring my son back alive. Please bring my father back alive. Bring my husband back alive. So they're going to pray to God for them, for their benefit. They're not going to the church or the temple. What can I do for you? It's what can you do for me? So that's not bhakti. That's not pure bhakti.
That's business.
There's some bhakti. It's not pure.
Yeah, that's a bit.
Because it's motivated. So how do we know it's motivated? Because usually what happened is the son didn't come back, the father didn't come back, the husband didn't come back, they died. And then what happened to all those women? Did they keep going to the church? No, they stopped going. Oh, you didn't do what I wanted you to do. You didn't bring back my husband. Well, I'm not going to go to church anymore. Why should I pray to you? You didn't do what I said. But that's not a proper relationship with God. I mean, you can do that. It's your choice. But it's not perfect. It's not pure. And like that, it just stops. So bhakti is meant to never stop. It's meant to be unconditional like that. And offering prayers. And then Sakyam. Sakyam means friend. You know, we should make friendship with the Lord. Like we have made friends with each other, right? So we're friends, you know, but we should also make friends with God. Like who's an example of that? Arjuna. Arjuna made a friendship with God. So we should realize that I mean, we have so many friends, but Krishna's our best friend. He's our best friend. I mean, we we all support each other in this life, right? Like if you got stuck, you know, I'll try to help you out, and hopefully you do the same if I got stuck. And but that's only for this life, right? But Krishna's with us now in this life and the next one and the next one. You get the idea, you know. For he's been with us ever since we came to the material world. The very first birth we took in the material world, Krishna came with us in the form of the super soul. And until we go back to the spiritual world, whether it's next life or 100 lives or 1,000,000 lives, he's going to continue to be with us. And what is he doing there? We can look at that 13th chapter. What is Krishna doing with us? Okay, 13th chapter, text 20. It's around 23, 22, 23. Once again, is Krishna staying with us because he's getting some pleasure out of that? No, he's doing it just for our benefit. Sorry, I haven't found it yet. 20. Yeah, 23.
Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as an overseer and permitter, and who is known as a super soul.
Yeah. So overseer means like he's witnessing. So why is he there? He witnesses. What is he witnessing? Our different desires. We have so many desires. And, you know, like I said, you know, I want money, I want a partner, I want, you know, a big position, a big post, whatever like that. I want to eat some ice cream or some pizza or whatever. So he's witnessing. He knows everything about what we want. He's witnessing that as a super soul. And then he's the permitter. So then he says, okay, Gulshan, okay, you can have that, but no, Gulshan, you can't have that. You know, so he either gives permission or he doesn't. But he's needed there to sanction, you know, our different desires. And sometimes if you don't have the karma, then he doesn't sanction. Or what's another reason why he might not sanction? You might have the good karma, but he still doesn't give it. Why would he not? Especially if you're a devotee, that's the clue. Especially if you're a non-devotee, he'll just give it, you know. He'll just give it if you've got karma. But if you're a devotee, why might he not give you something that you want sometimes?
Maybe it's not good for us.
Exactly, yeah. And is that good that he's doing that or not?
He's doing good because it's not necessary for us and not good for. He might do some harm if he can see that if I give it a Gulshan a million, it'll harm him. He'll be away from the and going to the honeymoon to New York.
Yeah. Or if Gulshan won lotto, we'll never see Gulshan again.
That's right. Yeah, the money is the thing there. It's anyone can deviate it from the path of the bhakti. Maya is very, very strong. It can, you know, beat anyone. If Krishna wants to be someone to not to doing his bhakti, very easy. He just put there a bag of money in front of his door. That's it. It's like, you know, like a little honey to the sugar to the ants. They all come in and then ants forgot the way. That's the right reason. Or maybe the good woman, beautiful woman, also, you know, distraction to deviate that from part of the bhakti. And then you just follow the woman and forgot that, where's my chanting bead bag? I was supposed to do chanting, but then chanting is all gone.
Yeah. So sometimes if God in the heart doesn't sanction, there's a reason for that. That's his mercy, like that. But that's what he's doing there. Why God is there as our friend, you know, he's seeing everything that we're going through, and he's trying to help us through it. and trying to give us good advice, good direction. He's giving a good direction. Let's look at 18th chapter, text 61, which still talks about the super soul, what he's doing there. 1861.
The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entity who are seated as on machine made of material energy.
So this body is a yantra, means a machine. Oh, and the soul is in the machine. We're like the passenger, and Krishna's the driver. Just like, what was Krishna doing in the Battle of Kurukshetra? What was his job?
Just to preaching Arjuna that he was just let the fight happening, and then
Bhagavad Gita happened before the battle took place, but once the battle took place, what was Krishna doing?
He was a chariot for his
the chariot, but he was the driver of the chariot.
Driver of the chariot. Yes.
So that's what he's doing in all of our bodies. That he's the driver. Yeah. He's directing the wanderings of all living entities. So, without him, we can't go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Without Krishna in the heart, you can't function. You can't move. You can't go anywhere. He's giving direction.
It's the body become a dead body without his presence in the body.
Without his presence, we'd just be hopeless, useless. We couldn't function. So he's helping us in every possible way. He supplies the ingredients of the body: earth, water, fire, air, space, everything, mind, intelligence. That's all his energy. And then also he gives direction to all that, guidance to all that. He gives us the intelligence. Let's look at Gulshan's favorite verse. What's your favorite?
15?
10:10.
Yeah, 10:10 is my favorite. I was telling today to Mahat Sevak about that verse there. And then he's explaining him those who are constantly devoted service, serving with me with the love, and I gave the understanding in which you can come to me. I think it's like an understanding of Gita as well. He is the one giving. If you keep doing the loving service, if you read the Gita without doing his service and all, it look like a story. If you keep doing the service for that and then read the Gita, then he gives the understanding to understand the Gita. It's like, it's nobody can understand really Krishna, the meeting and understanding Krishna. The Brahma can't even know that. It's like, but the Bhakta is like, Bhakta has got a very high position, because Krishna can give you anything, wealth and wife and house and position, everything, but would not give it a bhakti that easy, because in the bhakti he'll become under the bhakta. So bhakta is very, very highly positioned.
Yes.
And true devotee, like a Prabhupada, he was a true devotee, like a Shuddha Bhakta, very, very high position. It doesn't it must be like a millions of lifetime, then you come and go, maybe you can get that. Not in one lifetime. It's just a really, really, you have to do completely surrender, we got so many string attached. Oh, I need to buy a van, I'm going to be traveling to Australia. There's a lot of things there. It's like surrender is like a big thing, like the way the Prabhupada surrender, as nobody can do it. Nobody.
Well, I mean, a devotee, a devotee can have desires too. It's not that we don't have any desires, we're not like a rock or something. But what we should do as surrendered devotee, we connect our desires with Krishna. Yes. So you think, I have a desire to spread Krishna consciousness in Newcastle, say, or, for Krishna's pleasure. Or I have a desire to build a temple for Krishna for his pleasure, like that. So, you know, I desire to make a flower garland for my deities, you know, so we have desires, but we want to make those desires in connection.
As long as Krishna in the center.
Yeah, Krishna's the center.
Then there'll be any desire be around Krishna.
Yeah, whereas some spiritual paths would say that the spiritual life means you have to stop all your desires. But that's actually not our process. Our process is not to stop our desires. What we want to stop is the material desires, but we want to replace those material desires with spiritual desires. What's a spiritual desire? It's a desire for the pleasure of Krishna. What's a material desire? It's a desire for the pleasure of ourself, of our own senses, you know.
Yes.
And when we want to please Krishna's senses, that's a spiritual desire, or we call that love. That's what love is, right? The desire to please Krishna's senses, that's mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that's prema, that's love. And the desire to please our own senses, that's called calm, which is lust. So the difference between lust and love.
One of the Kirtan went to in India, was there last year. They did the Kirtan, and then same day it was the cricket one-day cricket final between Australia and India, and the same day is happening the Kirtan. So he did the Kirtan, but he put the big screen as well to keep the match going as well. To people want to know the update of the score, and I said, "What is it?" I just I couldn't believe that. So he said those a lot of people come into Kirtan, but like the intention was, how's the match going? You know, who's winning and what's the score and things like that. And like I said, this is not a Kirtan. But he said, oh, you know, you have to do that in this age. It's like that. But it's just like it's just he's you know, his own senses. You know, who's winning that match? His final match is there. It's a World Cup final. Yeah. And then so it's like, you know, you just own senses, like Krishna comes secondary. So yeah. It's not, but he was doing the Kirtan as well. So it's just like, oh yeah. Oh, well. Different people, different ways.
Krishna's doing so many things for us in our heart. And, you know, he's our best friend, as Prabhupada mentioned, because like I said, he's there with us life after life. Even if, because of my karma now, even I go into the body of a cockroach in my next life, only Krishna's going to go with me. If I say, hey, Gulshan, will you come with me when I go and become a cockroach? Will you come with me? Because Gulshan will say, no, you can see you later, boy. I'm not coming. Yeah. Or if I ask Jayanti, will you come with me when I become a cockroach in my next life? She's going to say, no, you can see you later. Like that. But Krishna will go. You know, Krishna will come with us, you know, so he's our true friend. And Jayanti called out from upstairs. She said, no, I'm not coming. So yeah, we know who our real friends are.
There was a 7 life. You have to get married with the Abhay Prabhu, and this is the first one. So
no, we don't follow. Don't follow this. That's pious activities and pious. No, we don't. We're beyond pious and pious. Yeah. Okay. So, in the final of the 9 processes mentioned is Atmanivedanam, which means complete surrender, self-surrender. Your body, your mind, your words, everything is surrender. An example of that is Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj, when Vamanadev took everything from Bali Maharaj in 3 steps of land, he took all, because Bali Maharaj had conquered the whole universe. He took the throne from Indra. He kicked Indra out of the heavenly planets, and he became like the controller of the whole universe. And Vamanadev, 3 steps, he took all of his position and everything like that. And then, but in 2 steps, he did, and there was nowhere to put his 3rd step. So Bali Maharaj said, "You can put your 3rd step on my head." So basically, even his body, he was prepared to sacrifice. He'd already given all his possessions, but that's the difference, you see. There's a difference between sacrificing your possessions and then sacrificing your very self, your body. So that was like next level. You know, I might sacrifice some money to a good cause or whatever, but will you sacrifice your life? That's very high level, right?
Very
Like
high.
a soldier is doing that in the wartime, right, for his country. A soldier is sacrificing his life for the country. That's why often the soldier, if he stays alive, they'll give him a medal. So that's to recognize you made such a great sacrifice. You made such a great sacrifice for your country. You know, you risked your life. So, and we see even, you know, devotees in ISKCON have done that, especially in the early days. I mean, they've made it easy for us now. We don't have to sacrifice so much. But in the early days, like Prabhupada sent devotees to Africa, and they're risking their life, to Russia. And in communist Russia, devotees were sent there. Even like Pakistan, he sent devotees to Pakistan. Yeah. And that was just during the time of I think just after the time of the Indian-Pakistan war. You know, so like that war happened. Some devotees were there. So, I mean, and actually and even after that, devotees, after Prabhupada left, so devotees were preaching in Russia, and many of them were killed. Many of them were put into prison and then killed in prison.
Yeah. You remember the book, The Salted Bread?
Yeah. So that
very good devotee.
Yeah, so that's complete surrender, self-surrender. I give my body, I give my mind, I give my words, I give my wealth, I give everything, you know, so like that. So these are the 9 different ways that we can please Krishna. You know, and if we do that, then our life is successful. So it's mentioned you can do one of those processes and go back to Godhead, attain the Supreme. Like just by hearing, if that's all you do is hear about Krishna, you can go back to Godhead. Or all you do is worship Krishna. Or all you do is menial service for Krishna. All you do is clean the toilets for Krishna's devotees. You can go back to Godhead by doing that. You know, so even one of the processes, or you might do 2, or 5, or all 9. You know, so, and Ambarish Maharaj, he's the example of someone that did all 9. So Ambarish Maharaj, he's famous for doing all 9 processes. So he heard about Krishna and he chanted Krishna's names, he worshipped, he, you know, offered prayers and all these kind of things. So, you know, made a friend of Krishna and surrendered everything like that. So whether you do 1 or up to 9, and your life can be successful by doing that. So let's go back to our verse today.
Yeah. 8:10.
This is one of the ways that we can attain the Supreme, by remembering him. So like I was saying, this is one of the 9 processes, by remembering the Lord at the time of death. That's what's recommended in this chapter, by remembering the Lord at the time of death. Then we can, without any doubt, go back to Godhead.
It's like a remember all the time. A death can become any time.
Yeah, so that's like you said, you know, the second option, that if we fail to remember him when we die, if he will remember us. Like, and that's why I brought up these 9 processes of bhakti, because if during our life while we're healthy, that if we do any of these 9 processes, Krishna's in our heart and he's witnessing. Remember, he's witnessing what we're doing. So he's witnessing that, Abai, Gulshan, Bhakti Mala are doing these 9 processes very nicely. And then, well, when they died, they got hit by a bus and they couldn't remember me. But I remember all that they did. I remember all the times Bhakti Mala and Gulshan, you know, fed people in the Bhakti tree, distributed my prasadam and told people about me and sold a Bhagavad Gita and blah, blah, blah. You know, he remembers that and then he'll take us back to Godhead. So that's the fail-safe. That's the fail-safe process. That will never...
Yeah, and I remember that Bhakti Mala, if you can see, sorry, it's just a little different topic. I remember to see, I thinking about last night when about the books and Bhakti Mala. If you can see the Mataji, they say that books are not selling in the farm because in the farm, 99% Indian people come. Indian people will not buy the cookbooks. It's only for Westerners, and Westerners comes in Bhakti tray.
Yeah.
I mean, selling a cookbook to Indians, it looked like you're selling ice to Eskimos. You can't sell it. I mean, you can say, can you sell the hairbrush to Patapna Prabhu? No, you can't sell it because he's got no hair. So you're selling cookbooks to Indian, forget it. So it's for Westerners, and then Westerner comes in Bhakti tree. If you can explain, because Abhay Prabhu, they stop the cookbooks, and then in the Bhakti tree, sometimes Westerners comes and buy the cookbooks, and they say, oh, nobody buy that, we're gonna stop order.
Oh, look.
Oh,
So
It
I
won't
said,
be,
well, nobody buy it because temple
we
of
can
99.
talk about that later.
Huh?
Talk about that later.
we can order them. It won't be an issue. It's just that we don't. We just have to put in. We'll just have to put in an order for them.
Continue the class. I can talk this later. Sorry. I just remembered that. I said I better say before I forget.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Gulshan.
Yeah.
That's Simha.
So let's read the verse.
Yes.
Let's read the verse.
We read the Sanskrit, English. We're going to purport or
Just read the English.
English,
But
okay.
would you like to read that?
Okay.
Me?
Yeah, text 10, one who?
Oh, okay. Just the translation.
Yeah, to start with, yeah.
One who at the time of death fixes his life air between the eyebrows, and by the strength of yoga, with an undeviating mind, engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion, will certainly attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Let's talk about the mechanical Ashtanga yoga process there. So this is one kind of yoga system. Of course, we follow a different system. We don't usually do this, fix our life here between the eyebrows and stuff like that. But this is Ashtanga yoga, and there's other ways, Jnana yoga, philosophical research and study, and we follow Bhakti yoga, of course. But why Krishna is mentioning this, and we talked about this with Gulshan last week, is because he's really interested in bhakti and these 9 processes, but not everyone is. Not everyone is interested to hear about Krishna and glorify Krishna and worship Krishna. So there's some people like doing all these mechanical exercises, like Josh, for example. He likes doing all these exercises and things. So there's people that have, like we said, we have different desires. So people can connect with God in different ways according to the different desires. Of course, ultimately, Krishna wants us to completely surrender and do what he wants. But if for those people that are not prepared to start the process of bhakti, then these other processes are there, like it's mentioned here, to fix your life here between your eyebrows and everything like that. But through this, see that these talking about the yogis here, the goal of the yogis is the Paramatma, the super soul. And in Jnana yoga, the philosophical speculators, their goal is another aspect of God, the Brahman, the all-pervading energy. So remember, God has 3 different aspects, Brahman and Paramatma and Bhagavan. So, of course, the Bhakti yogis, our interest is in Bhagavan, but other people have different interests. So another transcendentalist is interested in the Brahman, that's the Jnana yogi, or has an interest in the Paramatma, that's the Ashtanga yogi, the Hatha yogi, like that. So according to people's different desires, then there's different processes. So Bhagavad Gita includes all these different processes. And some people ask that question, well, if Krishna is really interested in just everyone to love him, why doesn't he just talk about Bhakti yoga? But like I said, the problem is that not everyone's prepared to start with Bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga generally only develops after many lifetimes that one's been advancing in their spiritual practice, and finally one can, be prepared to surrender. Finally, after many lifetimes. So I think that's the 7th chapter. Let's have a look. 7th chapter. text number 10, I think it is. 10. Is it? If you can't find a verse, but you know the first line, like I can remember the first line. If you look up in the back index of Sanskrit verses, this line starts off Bahunam Janmanamante. So look at B. Look at B. Bahunam. Okay. Yeah, 7:19. I thought it was the 7th chapter. Yeah, so 7:19, because I remembered Bahunam Janmanamante, so I found it in the back.
And 7:19.
Yeah.
After many birth and death, he who is actually in the knowledge surrender unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all cause and all that is, such as a great soul, is very rare.
Yeah, so it's actually very rare, Bhakti. Bhakti is, and Gulshan was talking about that, because it controls Krishna. But another Bhakti is rare because it controls Krishna, but also, you know, that it's very rare that someone has that full knowledge. Yeah. Someone has that knowledge to surrender to Krishna.
Oh,
you know, so.
Oh, that's okay. Right? But it's mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, 1,000 people, maybe one will be attain this bhakti. Isn't it?
That's the third verse of the 7th chapter.
Yeah.
So,
that, yeah.
7:3.
Okay. Yeah, out of many thousand among men, the one may endeavor for perfection, and then those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So obviously it's not me. So
I mean, we think we're not very advanced or whatever like that, but it could well be that we have been following different spiritual paths in previous lives, and for that reason we've come to Krishna consciousness. Or, I mean, it could be that we've just received some mercy from the spiritual master or from the devotees. One time, a devotee was quoting one verse from the Bhagavad Gita where he says that, this is 7:28. We can look at, we're doing a lot of the 7th chapter today. 7:28, where it says that one who acted piously in this life and in previous lives, only when his sinful reactions are completely eradicated, then he can take to devotional service with determination. So the devotee quoted this verse and say, Prabhupada, this verse says you can only take to bhakti if you've acted piously in this lives and previous lives. But it doesn't look like the devotees have that kind of background because many of them were taking drugs before they joined, or they were eating meat before they joined. They were having illicit sex before they joined. So it doesn't look like we're all pious. You know, so how is it that we have taken to devotional service, which normally means you have to be pious, but we weren't pious. So Prabhupada said, I created your piety. So that's another alternative. You could have been doing pious activities for many lives, and finally, after many lives, getting more and more knowledge, you've taken to bhakti. Or an advanced devotee has given you some mercy and like lifted you up. You didn't deserve it. You weren't really qualified to take to bhakti, but you got some mercy. What does mercy mean? Mercy means you're given something you don't deserve. You don't deserve it. If you deserve it and someone gives it to you after you deserve it, that's not mercy. But mercy is you're given something that you don't deserve, and you're not qualified to get it. Like a beggar, right? If someone gives something to a beggar, that's mercy. the beggar didn't do anything to receive that money or food or whatever like that. He didn't do anything to deserve it. But someone just out of their kindness of their heart, the compassion of their heart, just gives something to the beggar. So we're like that, you know. We're just some higher being is looking at us and saying, oh, these guys is just hopeless case. I better help them out. I better help them out, you know. So let me help this this fool Labai to get out of this suffering, you know. So I still remember that the day one devotee reached out to me and decided to give some mercy to me, and he and gave me good instruction, good advice. I was at Kali Krishna on the side.
Hey, Krishna.
Hey.
Hey, Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hi.
How are you?
Obeisances, all goes to Prabhupada. Jai.
They are in their new house. Is that your new house, Prabhuji?
Yeah, we're in our new
Well,
abode.
where's the house moving?
Yeah, soon. Tomorrow.
Not yet.
Oh, come on. Tomorrow never come.
Danya for 50 people.
Abhay Prabhu, they're moving to the new house in Cessnock.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations.
That's the new house.
Yes. Yeah, grihastas need a griha.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Or else they have a
Yeah.
problem.
Sorry, keep going, Abhay Prabhu.
Sorry to interrupt you. I thought I'd just
No, no, it's
come
okay.
for a while and hear your nice voice and hear a bit of Krishna consciousness.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. So as I'm
But I was
Now-
asking that, you know, the blessing from someone, is that ultimately come from Krishna?
yes, of course. Definitely.
Yeah, so it's like,
It said out of the mercy of Krishna, you get a guru. And out of the mercy of the guru, you get Krishna.
Yeah.
So Guru Krishna Prasadipaya Bhakti Lata Beach. So that's the verse from Chaitanya Charamrita. Brahmanda Brahmate Kona Bhagavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasadipaya Bhakti Lata Bija. So it said that the Jiva, the soul, is wandering through the Brahmanda, the universe, for many, many lifetimes. But out of the mercy of Guru and Krishna, he gets the seed of devotional service, Bhakti Lata Bija. So it said, how does that work? Guru Krishna Prasad. So the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So how does that work? That first of all, one gets the mercy of Krishna. Out of that mercy of Krishna is that he arranges that you meet a guru, a devotee.
Yeah.
And there's different kinds of gurus. You know, there's the guru that sets us on the path. I keep forgetting the Sanskrit of that one. It's Vartma Pradashika or something like that. Yeah. Vartma Pradashika guru. So the guru that sets us on the path. And then there's Shiksha guru. You can have many of those. Anyone that gives us good instruction how to advance in spiritual life. You know, I still remember another bhakta, earlier bhakta. He showed me how to put on a devotee, how to put tilak on, all this kind of stuff. You know, how to eat with my hand and all this kind of stuff. So they're a Shiksha guru. You know, they're giving us good instruction, good advice. You know, directed us, oh, you should read this book first and then read that book. And this is how you chant. You use these two fingers and you know, stick this finger out of the bead bag. You know, so someone instructed us how to chant and japa and all this kind of stuff. And then, of course, you have your Diksha Guru, only one of those at a time. Hopefully only one in your whole life, but at least one at a time. And then, you know, and they initiate us, give us a name and everything. We make our vows and everything. So this is all Krishna's mercy that you meet a guru. This is all Krishna's mercy. And then the guru instructs us how to surrender to Krishna and how to practice these 9 processes of devotional service. And then we can go back to Godhead. You know, so that's all mercy. That's all mercy from Krishna and mercy from the devotees who are representatives of Krishna. It means, you know, that Krishna inspires the devotee to give mercy to a particular person or to go to a particular place like that. Like it was amazing that, you know, Krishna inspired a devotee to come to a farm I was working on. It wasn't a Hare Krishna farm. It was just an organic farm. But Krishna inspired a devotee to come to that farm and pick me up. His name was Pratraka. I'm actually planning to visit him. He's in Brisbane. So we're planning
you plan to come to Brisbane?
Yeah, planning to go to Brisbane.
Well,
Yeah.
then you have to go to New Gokula as well then.
Unfortunately, not this time. But I not have the opportunity.
Are
of not-
you for real? Oh no. Hey.
Yeah.
Kalya Prabhu, can you listen that? Can you hear this? I cannot believe you were the president of United States. You're not coming to New Gokula. One stage you were the president. You can't come and see our progress and the growth in the farm. That's an insult. I'll take it as an insult.
I know I'll come
Might be
another time. When it's I'll come for some.
You coming to alien land and not coming to New Gokula? I cannot believe my ears.
Yeah.
Tell me you're joking.
It's I if I could expand myself in two forms, I would. But
No excuse. Look, Jagannath is there in New Gokula and is waiting for you. If you don't come, well, Jagannath knows how
yeah,
to
but
come.
my heart is there. So the best of me is there. My heart is a lucky tree, and you go cooler. It's just the stupid body is somewhere else. But yeah, my heart is always.
Given by Krishna, it's not stupid. It's also given by Krishna. All you gotta do, extend your ticket, and then just make one ticket to Newcastle, and I'll pick you up.
Yeah, just wait. I promise I'll come. Just a little. Yeah, it'll happen.
It's okay. I'll pray to Jagannath, please.
Yeah, Jyoti said you come here to visit.
It's,
First of all, you visit us, and then we'll visit you.
we're
You-
thinking of a trip over
you
that
did-
way.
What's that?
Catch a boat because someone's paranoid.
I think my Guru Maharaj is having his Vyasa Puja in New Zealand next year, so I'm thinking of coming next year, and then
Doing a whole tour.
and then I thought I could come and see you guys again.
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah,
It's so nice.
I'm not
Dude.
certain yet, but that's what I've heard, that it's going to be in New Zealand. So it'll probably be in Auckland, I'd say, and then it won't be too far from you guys. So.
Yeah. The door's always open, and one of the reasons why we don't have much time is we're building cabins here at the moment. So yeah, we're guest selves, your own cabin to stay in like that.
Oh,
Kind of cracks this here.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
We got some.
So we've
help?
got one cabin's nearly finished, and we're going to try to get another one happening.
Oh.
Then we can do retreats. Planning to do retreats here and different things. So
Are you building them, or
what's that?
are you building them, or have you got people helping you?
A really nice builder. He's quite a bhakta, and he loves, as they normally do. And he's giving us mates rates with building it, so that's really good.
Great.
does he visit Australia?
What's that?
Does he visit Australia?
You've got builders there. Don't be greedy. You've already got. You'll be greedy.
How many mates rates we're getting late?
You're not getting mates rates, is it?
Well, the main guy Tony, he's a gem. He's a bhakta, but we, the other guys we have to pay him the normal rates.
Yeah. But I mean, the main guy, he's giving you mates rates.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Okay. So when will you be in Brisbane?
On the 8th of May.
8th of May. Okay.
Just for a week there. And so yeah, that's my Vatma production. The guru is there, the one that set me on the path for Prajaga, so I'm going to visit them. And also one of my main Shiksha gurus, his name is Chaitanya Nitai from France. And he's moved recently back from France to Murwillumbah near New Govardhan, so I'm going to see them too. So I've got to offer my respect to my Shiksha gurus. That's very important, because they've given me so much mercy. Without their mercy, I would never be here in Krishna consciousness today. So we have to always have respect for our Guru and Krishna. They've given us so much mercy. Always grateful for the mercy that we've received. And then we have to pass it on. See, that's our obligation now. You know, we all have received mercy from so many other nice devotees in Krishna. So we have to pass it on, try to help others and spread Krishna consciousness through the Bhakti tree, through New Gokula, where people that we meet, you know, try to help them and always be a good example of a devotee, be a, you know, a good example, and try to inspire other people by being a good example and like that, because people have done that for us, you know, and we all know how much happiness we've got from Krishna consciousness, and we would still be so miserable and suffering without that. So we're very grateful for the mercy of the devotees and Krishna gave to us, so we should try to pass that on. It's the process. It's the process of Krishna consciousness. Yeah, so let's just read the purport, because we must read the purport. Okay, so Gulshan, do you want to start reading the purport in this verse?
In this verse, it's clearly stated that at the time of the death, the mind must be fixed in a devotional to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For those who practice in yoga, it is recommended that they raise in their life with life force between the eyebrows to the Jnana Chakra. Jnana Chakra. Huh? Okay. The practice of Sat Chakra Yoga involving meditation in the 6 chakras is suggested here. A pure devotee does not practice such yoga, but because he is always engaged in Krishna consciousness, at death he can remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his grace. This is explained in verse 14. The particular use of word yoga, blena, is significant in this verse because without practice of yoga, with Sat Chakra Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, one cannot come to this transcendental state of being at the time of death. One cannot suddenly remember the Supreme Lord at death. One must have practiced some yoga system, especially the system of Bhakti Yoga. Since one's mind at the death is very disturbed, one should practice transcendent through yoga during one's life. So it's you can do all the time the bhakti, because the death can happen anytime.
Yeah. And one philosophy a lot of people have is that, I'll get serious about my spiritual life when I get old. But Prabhupada's point is that that's very dangerous, because what if you die before you get old? Or,
Yes.
you know, what does it mean to be old? One time, one man criticized Prabhupada for giving sannyas initiation to many young men. And he said, you know, Prabhupada, this is wrong. You're supposed to be given sannyas when you're old. You've given it to all these young boys. And Prabhupada asked him the question, what does it mean to be old? And the man said, old means, well, before you die. And Prabhupada said, so, do you know when you're going to die? And so he caught the man, you know, he caught. Because you could die when you're 15, or you could die when you're 25, or 35, 45, 55, 65, 105. You don't know, one knows. So potentially any one of us is old. Potentially any one of us is old. So potentially we should all take sannyas right now, because I might die later today or tomorrow. So it means, but what does it mean to take sannyas? Does it mean you have to shave your head and carry a stick, a danda, and wear orange clothes? Not necessarily. Sannyas means, or who can say what the real meaning of sannyas means? That's an external sign, is by wearing the orange clothes and carrying the stick. But what's the real internal meaning of it?
Those they are surrender their senses to. It's like even you can be alone in the crowd as well. You know, that sannyas doesn't mean you have to leave the home and go to the Mount Everest and live in the caves. You can be sannyas while you're in the grasta. So it's like, you know, control your senses, and then like a turtle, put your legs and arms back in there.
Yeah, no, that's really good, Gulshan. One time, Prabhupada said to the devotee, he was giving class, he said to the devotees, and there was men in the room, women in the room, brahmacharis in the room, sannyasis, grihastas, everyone in the room. He said, all my disciples are sannyasis. So what did he mean by that statement? Because it didn't look like everyone in the room was a sannyasi. So what he's talking about is the real essence of what it means to be a sannyasi. And that's, if you look at the 18th chapter, text 2.
Okay.
18th chapter, text 2.
The Supreme Personality of God had said that giving up all the activities that are based on material desire is what a great learned man called the renounced order of life sannyasa, and giving up the result of all activity in what is wise called renunciation, tyaga.
So here you go. This is really sannyasa. It doesn't say anywhere in this verse you have to wear orange clothes and carry a stick, does it? But what does it say? You have to give up all activities that are based on material desire. That's sannyasa. So that's why he's saying all my disciples are sannyasis, because all of Prabhupada's disciples, they did everything for Prabhupada. They didn't do anything for whatever Prabhupada said. They just did it. If the Prabhupada said jump, they all would jump. If they said put your head on the ground, they would put their head on the ground. If he said go to Russia, Africa, they would do that. If Prabhupada said get married, they'd get married. If Prabhupada said stay single, they would stay single. You know, Prabhupada asked one disciple, I want you to manage the Juhu temple. And that was my spiritual master. And my spiritual master said yes. Even though he didn't feel qualified, he didn't really want to do it. He didn't want to be the manager. But because Prabhupada instructed him, I want you to manage Juhu, then he was only like 20 years old. He's managing this massive project. It's a big headache, so much anxiety. But he took that on because that was to please Prabhupada. So that's sannyas. And I mean, he was a brahmachari at that time, you know, so it doesn't mean you have to wear the orange clothes and carry the stick. What it means is that if you're doing everything to please Krishna and nothing to please yourself, then that's the real sannyas. That's what it is. And a woman can do that. And a young person can do that. An old person can do that. It doesn't matter. Grihasta can do that. And also the second part, which is renunciation, because that's part of sannyas too, is like saying, is renouncing, is giving up. So what are you giving up? See, a lot of people have that false idea about spiritual life means you have to give up all activities. You know, you stop doing activities, right? They have that idea. I mean, I had that idea too before I joined the movement, that spiritual people don't do anything, right? You don't do any work, right? The first thing you do if you become a spiritual person is give up your job. No, but is that what Prabhupada taught? No. You don't have to give up your work. What does it say? Giving up the results of all activities is what the wise call renunciation. So that's very important, that extra thing. It's not saying giving up of all activities. It's saying giving up the results of all your activities. That's renunciation. So that's what the sannyasi is giving up. He's giving up all the results of whatever he does. He gives that to Krishna. You know, so if the result of your activity is money, then you give the money to Krishna. That's a truly renounced person. If the result of my activity is mostly fruits and vegetables and nuts, so I give that to Krishna. You know, I don't produce money. I don't make any money, but very little. But I have a lot of fruits and a lot of vegetables, and you know, so I give that to Krishna, and then we distribute that as prasad to all the guests and people that come and everything like that. And then our need for money is less. So yeah, whatever your activities are, it's definitely going to produce some result, and that result you should give to Krishna, and then you're a renounced person. That's what it means to be truly renounced, like that. And if we look at a similar subject in the beginning of the 6th chapter, You can find it. Yeah, first verse of the 6th chapter.
The Supreme Personality of God had said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work, who works as he is obligated, is in the renounced order of life, and he is a true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty.
Yeah. So that's the same point, that you're not attached to the fruits of your work. That's the thing. And in the material world, everyone works. Why? What's the motivation for a normal person to be working? They want to enjoy the fruits. That's the only reason why they, but a devotee is not working for the fruits. He's working just as a matter of duty. He's just doing your duty as you're obligated to do. What does it mean, working as he is obligated? It means that's our obligation, is that God is giving us some work to do. So that's your obligation. Like God is giving someone the work of a brahmana, means a teacher. Or God is giving someone the work of a kshatriya, that's like a leader.